Some people will tell you that the transistor is the greatest invention of all time. Some will say it's penicillin or the invention of the wheel. But they'd all be wrong. While the greatest invention of the past century is unquestionably internet porn, the greatest invention of all time is music. Music is all around us, from pickup truck commercials to sporting events, from the aisles of Walmart to your head buried under piles of paperwork in your office. Music is everywhere. Well, everywhere except on MTV, ironically. And since music is so abundant and diverse, there's no shortage of interesting facts about it. So I'm going to drop 8 of them on you in this video, even though you didn't ask me to talk about a single one, and neither did anyone else. Just like I didn't ask you to hit the like and subscribe buttons, but you're going to do it anyway. Number 1, Olympic music. When you think of the Olympics, you probably think of things like dudes throwing javelins, chicks tumbling around like a human bouncy ball, or figure skaters you watch only in the hopes that one of them will botch a triple Lutz and end up with a face that gets triple fractured. What you don't think of, aside from maybe the annoying Olympic theme song, is music. But art and music used to actually be Olympic events until 1948. You could win a gold medal in musical composition, instrumental music, vocal music, and orchestral music. Imagine winning an Olympic gold medal in music. Wouldn't that be something? Yeah, it'd be fucking stupid like winning a Grammy or an MTV Music Award. Utterly meaningless. Music is 100% subjective, which means all music awards are 100% bullshit. The people at the Olympics realized this in 1948, that there's no possible way to objectively judge how good a piece of art or music is, and canceled both categories. 75 years later, the assholes at the Grammys still haven't gotten the memo. Today, the closest thing we have to judging music objectively is the Billboard Hot 100, but that only tells you how popular a song is, not how good it is. So really, all award shows are just popularity contests disguised as merit-based competitions, just like elections. Though music was only an event in modern Olympics from 1912 to 1948, its origins go back to the ancient Greeks. Alongside the Olympic Games, they also had the Pythian Games, which offered awards for art and music. So if you think gatekeeping in music is a new thing, you're wrong. Even the ancient Greeks had gatekeepers to tell you what music is good and what music sucks. Number 2, the Golden Record. In 1977, NASA launched 2 probes called Voyager 1 and 2 to explore the outer limits of our solar system and beyond. Now, almost 50 years later, both of them have successfully probed their way out of our star system and are traveling through interstellar space towards distant alien worlds. And in the event aliens ever encounter Voyager 1 or 2, both probes are loaded with lots of terrible Earth music to deter them from ever wanting to visit this god-awful planet. The Golden Record, as it's become known, was included on both voyages. These are 12-inch phonographic records made from gold-plated copper that contain greetings in 55 different languages, a bunch of random Earth sounds, and about 24 pieces of music. The idea was to give aliens a taste of what Earth had to offer should they ever find and listen to the record. But unfortunately, whoever was in charge of picking the songs to put on the Golden Record had lousy taste in music. The Voyagers launched in the late 70s, which means songs from bands like Led Zeppelin, Black Sabbath, The Doors, Jimi Hendrix, and the Beatles were all available to put on the Golden Record. But you won't find a single song by them or any other good rock bands on it. Johnny B. Goode by Chuck Berry is the closest we get to a decent rock song. The Golden Record is dominated by classical and world music. Now don't get me wrong, I love classical music. But how are you going to have 3 songs by JSB and 0 songs by CCR? How is there room for 2 pieces by Beethoven, but not room for Piece of My Heart by Janis Joplin? And how dare they include so much classical music without a single piece by Frédéric Chopin, unquestionably the greatest composer to ever live? Unlike me, the greatest poser to ever live. Hopefully aliens never listen to the Golden Record, because if they do, and they like what they hear enough to come visit Earth, they're going to be sorely disappointed when they get here. They'll be expecting Bach, but get Beck. They'll want to hear Stravinsky, maybe a symphony, but get Vitamin C and Cardi B. And they'll want to go see live concertos, but only find punk shows filled with weirdos. Fortunately, in all likelihood, the Golden Record will scare away any aliens that encounter it and deter them from visiting Earth. I know I wouldn't want to visit a planet that makes such lousy music. But at least the 2 Voyagers were launched long before songs like Ice Ice Baby or Friday existed. Because if we launched music like that into outer space, aliens would surely come down and wipe us off the planet faster than you can say stop, collaborate, and listen. Number 3, Space Jam. Speaking of space exploration, believe it or not, some dude recorded an entire album in space. While leading an expedition to the International Space Station from 2012 into 2013, Canadian astronaut and musician Chris Hadfield recorded an entire album in space. In 2015, he released the album Space Sessions, Songs from a Tin Can, recorded during his time on the ISS. Now, I always assumed that astronauts were super busy up there doing science and whatnot, but I guess they got lots of time to fuck around. Enough to write and record an entire album, apparently. Even though Hadfield's space recordings were a creative endeavor, they did accidentally answer some scientific questions like, do songs recorded in microgravity sound as bad as songs recorded in regular gravity? If it wasn't for Hadfield, we wouldn't know that the answer is a resounding yes. But not only did his space music answer scientific questions, it also raised some philosophical ones like, if you're playing a guitar with a fixed bridge while floating in space, does that make it a floating bridge? And if it is a floating bridge and it gets broken, and you repair it, does it become a fixed bridge again? These are the type of important questions I like to ponder late into the night while I should be working on my own, far less interesting, Earth-based music. Songs from a Tin Can was the first album recorded in space and contains a number of original tracks as well as a cover of David Bowie's Space Oddity.
Ground control to Colonel Hadfield. You rock.
But I gotta warn you, if you give the album a listen so you're not disappointed like I was, you should know that Ride the Lightning is an original song and not a Metallica cover like I'd hoped. But aside from that one misleading song title, on the whole, I think it's pretty fucking cool that a guy recorded an entire album in space. And now that it's been done once, let's never ever do it again. Number 4, rest insured. Insurance has got to be one of the biggest scams on the planet. It's basically the same thing as sports betting, except you're not betting on another team to win, you're betting on yourself to lose. And since the music world is full of winning losers, it's also full of people who will win big if they lose themselves, or at least a part of themselves that made them famous. Entertainers have been insuring their body parts for at least 50 years. In 1970, Dolly Parton had her size 40 double D breasts insured for $600,000. That's about $4 million in today's money, or $2 million per titty. But it's also chump change compared to some other artists. Bruce Springsteen had his voice insured for $30 million. J-Lo's ass is rumored to be insured for somewhere between $27 million and $300 million. But even that doesn't compare to the most insured musician on the planet. That honor goes to Mariah Carey. Well, not all of her, just her legs. After becoming a spokesperson for Gillette's Legs of the Goddess campaign, they reportedly insured her legs for a whopping $1 billion. With that kind of money, Mariah would never have to belt out another G7, her highest note, ever again. She could literally just buy a fleet of G7s and fly higher than ever. Some other artists with ridiculous insurance policies? Miley Cyrus and Gene Simmons both have had their tongues insured for $1 million each. Keith Richards had his hands insured for $1.6 million. Rumor has it that $1 million of that is just for his middle fingers. And Madonna had her breasts insured for $2 million. She wanted $12 million worth of coverage, but her insurance company only gave her $2 million. If Dolly's getting $4 million for her size 40 double Ds, I think it's only fair that Madonna gets $2 million for her 32 Cs. But then again, I also think that 99% of insurance is a scam and shouldn't exist. Number 5. The days the music died. I don't know how every single day has managed to become an unofficial holiday. If every day is going to be a holiday, then no day is special, and we might as well not have any holidays at all. But we literally now have more unofficial holidays than we have official days of the year. I guarantee today is like International Pumpkin Pie Day, or it's Interdimensional Travel Awareness Week, or something stupid like that. Unfortunately, there are quite a few music-related unofficial holidays. For example, August 24th is International Strange Music Day. This bogus holiday exists to encourage people to listen to new genres of music. Good luck getting anyone over the age of 25 to listen to anything other than the same shit they've been listening to since high school. On November 21st, you won't be listening to strange music. You'll be listening to no music at all because it's No Music Day. The supposed point of this literal holiday for music is to raise awareness about how cheapened music has become as an art form in modern society. As if we're not all constantly reminded of how much contemporary music sucks every time we turn on the TV or open up Spotify. July 13th is National Barbershop Music Appreciation Day. I won't be going to get a haircut that day, or any other. Just like I wouldn't recommend going to Guitar Center on May 22nd because it's going to be packed with people celebrating Buy a Musical Instrument Day. They say it ain't over until the fat lady sings. Well, that'll be on October 25th because that's World Opera Day. Although there'll probably be lots of fat ladies singing on July 19th because that's International Karaoke Day. If you need a day to make you aware of how punk rock went from being edgy, raw, and sloppy to safe, fake, and poppy, that would be June 30th, which is Blink-182 Day. And the last fake holiday I'll mention is February 3rd, better known as the Day the Music Died Day. An annual reminder that good music crashed and burned long before every single fucking day was turned into a Hallmark card. Number 6. Stop the music. November 21st might be No Music Day, but some people celebrate it 365 days a year. That's right. Believe it or not, there are actually people out there who don't listen to music. Fucking weirdos. I don't know if it's because they got no soul or just because they got no rhythm, but for whatever reason, some people just don't listen to music. It's almost impossible for me to wrap my head around this one. Probably because there's always music playing in my head, even when I'm the only one who can hear it. In fact, I'm listening to You're the Best by Joe Esposito in my head right now.
You're the best around, nothing's gonna ever keep you down.
Music has always been a big part of my life, just like I assume it's been a big part of yours too. If it wasn't, you wouldn't be watching this video. But you are, which means that both you and I are normal. That is, we both listen to music. But somewhere between 3 and 5% of the population doesn't listen to music at all. So what the fuck is wrong with these people? Are they fucking deaf? Well, for sure, some of them are, yeah. But that's no excuse. Beethoven didn't let going deaf stop him from making music, so you shouldn't let it stop you from listening to music. But what about the people who can hear just fine, but still don't listen to music? They might be suffering from a condition known as musical anhedonia. This is the inability to get any pleasure whatsoever out of listening to music. Some people are born like this, while others lose the ability to enjoy music as the result of some sort of traumatic brain injury or medical illness. Either way, it sounds fucking awful. I'd rather be diagnosed with HPV, HSV, and every other STD than musical anhedonia. At least that way I could create a killer crotch-scratching playlist to enjoy while itching away down there. Number 7. That song smells awful. For the vast majority of us five-sensed humans, we can only see sights, feel touch, smell scent, taste food, and hear sound. But did you know that about 1% of people can not only hear sound, but also see, taste, and even smell it? Some can hear what they see what they smell, or smell what they feel. This rare condition is known as synesthesia and causes our sensory perception to get all mixed up. The people who experience it are called synesthetes. Several different types of synesthesia have been identified. Chromesthesia, also known as sound-to-color synesthesia, is a type that causes synesthetes to not only hear sound, but also experience its colors, shape, and movement. Now this seems like it could be really cool. I bet if I could see the color and movement of a Randy Rhoads guitar solo or one of Chopin's nocturnes, they'd be absolutely beautiful. But on the flip side, I bet being able to see something like K-pop or karaoke would be even worse than having to listen to it. Because if karaoke looks how it sounds, 99% of it looks like a big pile of shit. Even though synesthesia is quite rare, it's not unheard of in the entertainment world. A number of musicians have discussed their experiences with it. Some of the most notable examples include Lorde, Billy Joel, Billie Eilish, John Frusciante, Tori Amos, Pharrell Williams, and Kanye West. I know it's hard to imagine someone as mentally stable as Kanye hallucinating colors and shit, but it's true. But what if you want to have the same perception-bending experience, but aren't a synesthete yourself? Good news. With the help of a little vitamin LSD, you can. If you take enough acid, shrooms, mescaline, or other hallucinogen, you too can have your senses start mingling together. Drugs like these are known to induce synesthesia, especially chromesthesia. Though tripping balls can turn you into a temporary synesthete, it's not the only way. If you're too much of a pussy to eat a handful of acid tabs, you can try smoking lots of weed. There are reports of people having synesthetic experiences from hashish dating back to 1845. But if you want to see sounds without having to first go see your dealer, just stay awake for a few days straight. Sleep deprivation can also cause synesthesia. Personally, I'm glad I'm not a synesthete. It's bad enough having to hear how bad modern music sucks without having to see it, too. I don't envy synesthetes. Sure, I might have terrible taste in music, but only figuratively. Synesthetes who listen to contemporary music literally have bad taste in music. Not only can they hear how much it sucks, they can see, feel, smell, and taste it, too. Now all of a sudden the idea of not listening to music is starting to make some sense to me. I bet some of those weirdos who never listen to music are really just synesthetes who got sick of having to see and smell how awful most of it is. Number 8. Oh, say can you hear? I bet that if I was to scroll through all your Spotify playlists, I wouldn't find the national anthem on any of them. Does that mean you hate your country? No, it just means you like your country's anthem as much as I like mine, which is not at all. It's a terrible song. The Star-Spangled Banner was written in 1814 and became the official anthem of the United States in 1931. It's basically a war hymn, which I guess is fitting since war seems to be our chief export. The full version of the Star-Spangled Banner has 4 verses, but in true lazy-ass American form, no performer has ever bothered to learn any of them beyond the first, which, I'll be honest, I'm thankful for. It's bad enough having to stand through one verse of the Star-Spangled Banner before every single sporting event. 4 would be unbearable. I'm glad it's always shortened to 1. But why stop there? As our attention spans continue to shrink, maybe the national anthem will too. Hopefully someday it'll get to the point where at a ball game they just introduce the singer, she comes out onto the field, sings, "Home of the Brave," and bam, done. Everybody claps, we can go to kickoff, first pitch, whatever. As far as the length of national anthems go, the United States ranks somewhere in the middle. We should strive to be more like Japan. Their national anthem doesn't sound any better than ours, but it only consists of 4 short lines. And having to listen to a shitty song with 4 short lines is a lot better than having to listen to a shitty song with 8 long lines like the first verse of the Star-Spangled Banner. But I guess I should be thankful that I don't live in some place like El Salvador, Ecuador, or one of the other countries that have a ridiculously long national anthem. Ecuador's anthem is 21 lines long. El Salvador's is 52 lines long. But the award for worst national anthem goes to Afghanistan. Their anthem is called "This is the Home of the Brave." Where have I heard that before? This awful anthem has 40 incredibly long, never-ending lines. That might not be as many as El Salvador's anthem, but each line of Afghanistan's is at least twice as long, which makes it suck at least twice as much. I just listened to like 40 different national anthems, and there wasn't a single banger in the bunch. They're all terrible. With 60,000 songs added to Spotify every day, I don't get why we still have a boring ancient war hymn for an anthem. I say we get Bruce Springsteen and Miley Cyrus together to make us a new anthem called "Born to Party in the USA." Now that's an anthem that might actually show up on some playlists. And now you know 8 random things about music that I'm sure many of you probably knew already, so now you double know them. But do you know any other interesting random music-related facts that I didn't mention? Tell me in the comments.
You're so annoying.
If you'd like to hear some of my randomly recorded music that no one asked me to make, click the link in the description or search for this dude on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you go to listen to random music that no one asked to be made.